Hi, my name is Steve Faulkner and welcome to Real Magic Review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Minto by Jumpertz. But first of all, a word from our sponsors. That'll be me then. If you're like me and you're constantly trying to up your game with a deck of cards, you want to be an expert, you don't just want to know a couple of tricks, you want to be really knowledgeable, then go and check out cardmagiccourse.com. It's my online resource. It is everything I know with a deck of cards. There's 180 plus videos on there and it's just had an overhaul. There's moves, theory, help with performance, and you can always email if there's something on there that you can't see, and I'll do what I can to create more content for you. So it's a really bespoke learning experience. So if you go through that from beginning to end, if you're a serious beginner or you're already established, you're going to know so much more than most people with a deck of cards. So cardmagiccourse.com, and there are a few free previews on there. If you go onto Card Controls Volume 2, you'll get a free preview of the Spread Cull. And one more thing, very important, please like and subscribe down there. Hit the bell so you'll get notifications, and don't forget to look in the comments bit at the end. There'll be all the links and the info you need on the product and of course the card course. Here's the review. So based on an original idea by Colin Gilbert, Jumpertz's trick gives us this Lincoln Polo effect. So basically the effect is you borrow or can borrow some earphones. You can borrow a Polo, but or give a Polo out and say, give me one of them Polos out of that packet. You pop the thing in your mouth, pop the earphones in your mouth, pull them out, and the Polo is linked on the earphone cable. So that's gonna throw up a few questions, isn't it? Borrowing people's headphones and popping it in your mouth, but I think it's a good thing to talk about. So the effect itself is strong. What you get is you get a couple of the Polos, because guess what, it's a gimmick. But the Polos that they give you, right, are the actual like you go and buy some Polos from a shop. You can say to someone, buy some Polos, take one out, give us a Polo. So it's it's a borrowed object. It can be completely borrowed objects. So you can see I love talking about stuff like this because I've read on the forums and I've seen people's reaction to this, and it excites me because I think that reviews, the reason I do these reviews is that the conversations they can start. Okay, the review is great and I love watching Magic reviews, but it's the conversations we can have around them which I think are really interesting. So I'll try and give you my take on these, the issues that people are going to have with this, and my experience of doing the trick. So first thing is, it's a really well made gimmick. These things are not going to disintegrate. They're made of silicone, so they look exactly as they should, and you'll lose them before. And I don't mean you will lose them really, because you stick them in the box, but you'll lose them before they break or anything like that. It's a quick trick, right, which I think is quite nice sometimes. Some tricks they need the setup, they need the sort of process, and this is, give us that, watch this, bang. It's very, very good for sort of Instagram stuff. I mean, I stuck it on Instagram the other day and it got quite a nice little response. People saying it was quite nice. Someone said it was ridiculous, but that's all right. But it's a good visual thing that doesn't require much from the participant, the spectator. They can just watch it and bang, there we go, look at that, boom. Don't need loads of patter with it. Nice. No angles with it. Okay, there are no angles with this trick. You can literally do it completely surrounded, no problem at all, and it is fairly easy. It's going to need a little bit of sleight of mouth, but it's not a very challenging trick to do, because even if you kind of have to faff about a little bit, it doesn't matter, because you're trying to simulate putting a Polo onto a headphone cable. And it doesn't have to be an headphone cable, right? I mean, you can use something else. You can carry around a bit of thing and have a look at that. So that will sort of address one of the challenges we've got. But I think it's a strong trick. I took this out, and funnily enough, on the video, it was actually spontaneous. I was sitting having a beer with a couple of friends, and they did have a charger on them, and I went, oh, I got the thing in my pocket, and I was carrying it around in case I got an opportunity to perform it, and they were friends, so they didn't mind the fact I put the thing in my mouth. It's kind of gross, but gross is entertaining sometimes, and I think we kind of forget that in the right context. And people forget about context, and some people say, well, it's not just about context. If it's gross, it's gross. If it's not good, it's not good. But I think context is everything. I think this is a trick that in the right context is a strong piece of magic, and gross and kind of funny, and people talk about it. And you know, and I know it's fooling, because I showed this to a friend that has seen a few of my tricks, and the next day said, God, I was thinking about that last night, and how'd you do it? Go on, tell me how you do it. He'd watched the video again and again, and there's nothing to see, which is, it all happens in your mouth. So people just cannot work out how it's done. So it's good like that. So there's a lot to like about it. You know, it's fooling, it's strong, it's gross, which can be funny, it can be entertaining, it can use borrowed objects, people can trick with everything. So it's a bit of a winner in that respect. But of course, this has its challenges, because it's saying, you know, borrow someone's headphone cable, bang it in your mouth, you know, with a Polo, and pull it out with a spittle covered Polo. So listen, right, you're not going to be, you know, at your wedding, when you go up to the bride and groom, you're not going to be saying, have you got any headphones on your Polos? Or, you know, you're not going to go to the director of the company saying, no, there are a couple of companies that I would do that with. It's not really one for the posh dudes, is it? It's one for, you know, if members of the young. You know, if you're a young person, a lot of your mates are going to be walking around with Apple headphones or similar types of things, and you don't have to be Apple, but you know what I mean, and you're going to be able to do it. It's a kind of one to do with friends, one to do in informal situations, or in a set-up situation where you think, you know, this will work really well in this situation. And you can, you know, if you are at one of the posh dudes and you go up to a table full of, you know, 20-odd-year-olds that are getting hammered, and you want to show them something that's going to get their attention, they'll love it. So there is places you can do this. I think there's too much, I've talked about this, and I will talk about this until the day I die, there's too much of this dogmatic kind of you must, you mustn't in magic. You know, if it feels right and you're personally self-aware and you're aware of your audience, then you know what you can get away with. And someone the other day said, I don't care about that, there's just not an appropriateness for this. And I was like, I'm sorry, but there is, because you've got hundreds of performers in the past that have proved it again and again and again. You know, yes, the rule is you be kind and you do clean magic and all this kind of stuff, but there are variations to that rule. And, you know, if you're a self-aware performer and you think, you know, I'll do this now and I think this will be all right, most of the time it will. Now, for the odd time that you kind of do get it wrong, and we all get it wrong, not the end of the world, is it? You know, that person thinks it was a bit gross and you move on. The card to mouth is a good example of this. Now, it's a bit of an old hack trick. I do it on stage all the time because it plays so big. There's so much mileage you can get out of it. You watch David Williams who do card to mouth, or sort of people like Jeff Hobson, and you know, the grossness is part of the fun of it. And you know, I've seen theatres of, you know, hundreds of people, well, a couple of thousand people just loving that trick because of what can be done with it, because the context is correct. So there's my little, you know, I'll get down off my high horse, there's my little rant, but don't worry too much about it. If you look at this and think that'd be cool in that situation when I'm at a party and all that thing, then it's going to work for you. So that's Minto. I'm carrying this around me all the time, I'm afraid, but there you go, that's just me. It's available, it's done by Vanish, it's a Vanishing product, so you can go and check that out. You get 2 gimmicks with it, which I think will last you a very long time, but of course not for everybody. Have a great one. Comments would be really, really appreciated, and I love the conversations that these kind of things start. So thanks for watching, take care.